You're listening to The Blatino Nerd. Uncut, uncensored, unfiltered. Get dirty and keep it nerdy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the new episode of the Blatino Nerd. I am, of course, the Blatino Nerd, and today is going to be a very, very interesting topic. We are going to discuss the controversial art of online sex work. It is a topic that brings up both excitement and controversy, depending on who you are and your views about it. And joining me today is a very, very good friend of mine, is somebody who is an expert on the subject. She goes by the name Master Sorcerer. How are you today?
I love the ring of that. Please say it again, please.
Master Sorcerer.
Oh my fucking god, yes.
That has such an epic sound to it, doesn't it?
I have never been called that in my life, and I just feel like that's way better than anonymous, you know?
Right, like, because anonymous, it's like they're going to say anonymous, it's like either she's a hacker or like a terrorist.
Who cares about anonymous?
Exactly. So I figured, like, anonymous, anybody can be anonymous, but only someone special can be the Master Sorcerer.
How are you, Mr. Blatino Nerd?
I'm well. I'm good. It's been a crazy week here, but I'm finally settled down and relaxed, so there's that.
I feel that.
Okay.
So here we are.
Yeah, so I guess let's get down to the nitty-gritty, because people listen to me for the nitty-gritty. I must also warn you, this one ain't for the little ones. So if they're going to be listening, I would hit stop right now. That being said, let's get into...
Okay.
I gotta warn. I don't need anybody on my page saying, this is inappropriate. This is your warning. Leave the room or hit pause. Listen to it tonight. Do whatever you got to do. Just don't blame me if your kids hear this, because you were given warning. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump right into it. First things first. How long have you been doing this now?
Since 2012.
2012. Wow, that's
yes.
Wow, 8 years. Fantastic.
Yes.
And I'm sorry.
It will be 8 years in December.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So what drew you into this line of work? Like, was it something that one day you just happened to like catch yourself, like, I don't know, recording yourself, and you were like, I should do this for a living? Or was this like a long, drawn out thing?
No, actually, it's completely different. I was working at a bank, and I wound up losing my job. Yeah, it was horrible. It was right around Christmas time. So I wound up taking a trip, and I visited a very good friend of mine. And, I always used to say, like, if I received $1 for every time someone saw my tits or wanted to see my tits, I would be fucking rich. Like, that was always my, like, inner thought. I was just like, damn. But I never, like, really went at it. But here I am, recently unemployed. I go see a friend, and she's like, well, yeah, I used to do, like, sex work and stuff. And I'm like, oh, like what? And she started talking about phone sex, and then she brought up camming, and I'm like, oh, I mean, that's interesting. So I took that knowledge back home with me, and I took my little ass on Google, and I found the shadiest, most, like literally the sketchiest website you could ever possibly think of. And
Jesus.
I just found it, and I was like, there is no way this is legitimate. So I gave it a shot, and I wound up getting a check, and 8 years later, here I am.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So they just like
It basically just like fell onto my lap because my mind wasn't there, but then it became there because the
right.
idea was brought up to me. Like,
So what originally started as a "what have I got to lose" moment turned into, wait a minute, we might be on to something.
yes, that
Right,
is
gotcha.
very correct.
Okay, nice. So and that leads to my next question. What is like the average payout for like something like that?
It depends. Can you be more specific? Like,
Like how do you get paid for it? Is it strictly on video content, or is it like X amount of people have to watch or download or something like that?
wow, I could literally spend so long talking about this because it's whatever you want it to be if you're
Right.
smart enough to figure out the ins and outs of each website that you put yourself on. So,
Okay.
do you want me to explain a little more?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
This will be educational for myself as well as anybody listening. So.
So, there are certain people that get into the industry and they kind of focus on one particular thing, whether it be camming, whether it be Snapchat. They focus like they kind of just get into one thing, and then usually as time goes on, they expand their horizons and they open up content. They might start like delving into phone sex. They might start. I mean, there are like so many different things that you can wind up doing in this
Right.
industry where you could get paid in so many different ways.
Gotcha. Nice. So, when did that like ta-da moment hit you? Like this is what I'm gonna do. Like moving forward for a while.
Wow. So I started out with like that initial rush of success. So I
Right.
kind of, I guess, like I went with that to start. And then as
Right.
time went on, it just kept getting more and more like, wow, when did the ta-da moment hit?
So this wasn't like a slow build for you. Like you were successful like right out of the gate.
Well, I was successful out of the gate, but it was also a slow build too.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like, so over time,
It
I've
does.
built like this. I like to call it a little mini empire because that's what it feels like at this point.
Hmm.
Um, but to start, I was just like a total noob that knew that I was creative. I knew that I was good at what I was doing. I knew I had a shot.
Right.
Is, I guess, the bottom line at that. So I would say a couple of years ago is when I started to really hone in on uh, progressing it.
Okay. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's very complicated. It's a complicated question.
You know me. I gotta hit them with the hard ones.
Oh
Got,
man,
gotta boom. Just get
that
it
is
in there.
that is whew,
All right.
whoa, like breaking a sweat over here.
Oh,
Christ.
jeez. um. So then, I guess, do you have like a particular area of expertise, or are all your videos? It's just like, I might want to try something different here, or is there just one particular area you focus on?
Wow. Oh my god, I feel like I'm on an episode of Punk'd right now. like are
Hey,
these
hey, hey, hey,
questions?
Ashton, I think we got it, man.
Are you really asking me these questions? Yes, I am very kink oriented.
Oh,
So I cater to the kink side of things. Thing.
ah, kink. kinks.
Yes.
I definitely have a lot of listeners. Like the second you said kink, their ears probably just pricked up. Like, really now? What are we talking about here?
Because like kink is so vague of a word, isn't it?
Yeah,
my
kink is when people actually pay attention to me.
Aww.
There's nothing better.
I will always pay attention to you.
Yes, yes. I am talking. You are listening. This is good. Right. I've arrived.
That is a plus of doing a podcast or even webcamming too. Kind of get the spotlight there.
Yeah, I mean, this is true. we're as a podcast though, people just kind of hear my voice, and they can take it how they want to. They can either laugh at me, or you know what, I don't want to think about what else they might do. But it's as opposed to like a webcam where
Oh, dude, if you fuck up everyone. Well, anyway.
How do you fuck up on a webcam? Like if you're in the middle of something, like, oh shit, wrong boob, sorry.
So webcamming is very, it could be very chaotic at times. You have a bunch of users coming in at one time, and they might all want different things. Okay. So in that case scenario, like sometimes you have private messages where it's like, can you do this? Or do you want to go private? And then while you're like trying to take a private, you're also doing a countdown that just finished, and it's like you're trying to manage all of these things at one time, while trying to make everyone comfortable and not come across as a idiot or like someone that doesn't care about what they're doing.
So when you say countdown, what is a countdown?
You could put an amount on a specific topic of what you would like to do in a show, like a topless, like a blowjob, like a solo blowjob, or even on certain sites you could do boy-girl stuff too, which is
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So it really just depends on where you are and what you're doing.
Right. So you take private requests, or is it just like I'm here and?
So recently I'm on a streaming hiatus, but when I was doing it, I liked to cater to privates mostly, and
cater to privates.
I do, because it's so hard to just please everyone at one time, you know, like, and you don't want that one sour apple to ruin the vibe for the rest of the people that are actually enjoying it. Gotcha. So like when I'm just hanging out in like public chat, everything is chill, it's teasy, it's, I don't do too much in chat.
Right, you save it for...
Compared to some other people, I mean, it's just dependent on what you're comfortable with, what you know.
Gotcha. And so, like, what do you, like, do you charge...
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Like, I'm perfectly okay with doing, like, mild nudity, but I can't remember the last time I've been fully nude on a public chat site. I just don't do it.
Right. Okay. That's fair. I mean, if the high rollers are willing to pay a little more, then, why not?
It's just, I don't know, it's just better that way.
That makes sense.
You know that person's into you, and you know that it's...
That's what they're there. They're there for you, not just...
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's
fair. I dig it. I'm with it. So, okay. So now I have to ask, and if you don't want to answer, it's okay, but I have to know, what is the craziest request you've gotten from someone?
You're going to have to give me a minute.
Take all the time you need.
You might actually have to give me like 5 minutes.
That's fine. We can always come back to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I have an initial one, which is the sex bot, robot. Sex bot.
So sex robot.
Sex robot. Yeah, there was a custom video request. It was sex bot where this person wanted uh, the fantasy of me being a robot, and literally
Oh.
use the robot noises and everything. Like I will actually make you come.
Oh
You
my
know,
god.
like
No way.
yeah. I swear to. I cannot make this up. Okay, listen.
So
And there. That's.
are we talking like Mr. Krabs level, like beep boo boo beep boo boo bop boo boo bop beep?
Yes.
Oh my god. That's I'm not gonna lie, that's either really fucking intuitive or really fucking terrifying.
And like when I when I looked back at the content after I did it,
Oh my god, sex robot.
I just like couldn't stop crying of laughter.
I can imagine, but like when you said sex robot, I'm thinking like I don't know if you've ever seen the sketch on The Whitest Kids You Know, which just the guy going sex robot for like 5 minutes. I thought maybe it was one of those deals. I was like, sex robot. So he wants her to dance the sex robot for 5 minutes. That's cool. Sex robot, sex robot, sex robot, sex robot. That's fucking amazing.
The most awkward experience. That was like that was a couple of years ago.
That's wild. Wow.
I've had like, yeah. I'm gonna come back to this question because
that's
things running through my brain right now that
more robots.
No,
Okay.
more than just robots. Just
oh Jesus. Okay. Well then,
they're like opening up a portal of the crazy things that I've blocked away.
I've opened a portal into the sorcerer's world. Nice. I dig it. I'm with it.
Oh,
Oh my god, this is good.
wow.
I've never heard that one before. Sex robot. Oh
Sex
my god.
robot. Yes.
That's probably my new favorite thing I've heard of 2020. Oh my god.
And there are certain parts in the clip where you literally like I'm just laughing because there's no way.
Yeah, how are you supposed to react to that? Like
I thought I did a pretty good job at maintaining myself.
Right.
No, but whew,
oh my god, that's fucking amazing.
that was the most difficult acting job I've ever done.
That's good. That's good.
And it wasn't even sexual. It was just like just talking like that. It was.
Oh my god. So you were pretty much like Siri for sex.
Yeah.
Dig it.
Yeah, it was like.
That's the more I think about it, like it's just fucking hilarious.
Oh man. Oh. Okay.
Wow. I that was not where I was expecting this conversation to go. I thought maybe like you had a guy who like wanted to like call you mommy and shit, but
Dude, no, listen.
Sex robot was not on my bingo.
The mommy stuff is probably like that's like vanilla at this point. That's so normal. I feel like because it comes around so often.
Right.
It's just like how like I'm so used to it.
That is crazy to me though.
I can't even call mommy stuff crazy. That's where my train of thought is. It has to be on sex robot caliber level of wild to actually phase me.
Oh my god, that is legendary. I love it. Definitely did not have that on bingo. that was not on my list at all. Sex robot.
Anyhow.
I'm gonna have to try that with the missus tonight.
Whoa. No. Do you want to? That might scar her. That might like.
Hey baby, would you like to get it on? Dick swinging.
What if she responded with yes?
Yes, baby, give it to me.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. Oh man. Okay. For a brief second I forgot what my next question was there. Um,
Right on.
um I don't think anything's gonna top sex robot, but I'm gonna try. um so are there any like negatives to like your line of work, like what you do?
You're very reliant on other people.
Right.
So that I would consider as a positive and a negative,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how you look at it, because there are certain people that are very generous and there are certain people that are not. So
Right.
you kind of have to take each person and, like figure out, like, are they, first of all, you can't base someone off of monetary value either, because they could be
Right.
providing like so much more than just like a tip here and there, or like just so it's I think the hardest part is learning who is on the other side of like what you're doing. Does that make any sense at all?
That does, yeah. I
Like
get you.
if yeah, because and that's a lot of intake. And when you're dealing with a lot of people at one time, and like this person is like trying to freeload this, and this person is trying to like support your content, this person wants to like have some fun in private, this person is actually really rude secretly. You have to like literally know these things.
Right. So it's a matter
So
of
you have to like put up a barrier while also like letting that barrier down at the same time, because if you
gotcha.
keep the barrier, if you keep that up too much, then nobody's going to want to deal with you or like even associate with you.
Right.
But if you let that down too much, then they can take advantage of you.
Got it.
It's very, very, yeah.
That's
So that's like one of the positive negative things. So you could develop really great things, or you could develop things that aren't so great as time goes on too, because there are people that return and there are people that just come and go. Like
but
literally, ha ha.
but
Yeah. So that's that part.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really tough, I think, for like women in general, because women are emotionally geared, and when you're combining emotions with sexuality plus money,
Mm-hmm.
wow, that could be a recipe for success. It could be a recipe for happiness, but it could also be a recipe for like self-detriment, like doubt, uh, anxiety. It really just depends on what happens on the journey of
Right.
sex work, because for some people it's great, there's no issues, no problems. There are other people that struggle from the gate and continue to struggle throughout their entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the negative is you don't know what to expect at all.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that seems pretty it seems like a lot to take in, but you also, from the
I
sound of it, seem like you know your clientele and you know who's going to.
yeah, I've given this a lot of thought. Like
So let that be a lesson. Whether you're at a restaurant or on a webcam, tip your server generously. Don't be a
yes.
douche.
Yes, or if you're or just be pleasant or provide something positive. That's
Exactly.
all anyone
They
can ever ask for.
they are still providing a service. So
I have never, I mean, okay, so this is a topic. Aside from like femdom uh slash findom related stuff, I don't ask for any tips or anything.
right.
I've never done that, but many people do, because certain people come into this with that mentality of like they will pay me to be here, and
Right.
that's how they run their stuff. But unless you're catering to that specific fetish, I just feel like that's so rude. Because how can you like demand that? How can you demand someone to like you if does this make any sense at all?
No, it does. I get it.
Oh,
I get it, and that's something I've always actually been curious about. I'm like, do they all demand tips, or is it just one of those things where some of them are just thankful that
yeah, I would say it just depends on the person. There are certain people that also don't ask for it. It's just kind of like you're on this site, so you should have the common knowledge of what goes on here. And if
Right.
I actually have to upsell you and like do I really have to say, well, tip 66 tokens to see my tits? It says it right on my topic.
Right,
Like,
like this is what you're here for.
right,
This right here.
right.
So, like, what is promotion? Like, how do you go about promoting, like, for stuff like that, like content? Do you like post stuff on other websites? Do you like email members of that website? Like, how do you promote yourself?
Okay. So all of my content has most of my primary links of where you can find other things that I'm offering.
Right,
So I advertise on Pornhub. Pornhub is fantastic just for that alone because it's free. You upload your stuff, but you're hitting so many users that like could possibly see your link and
right,
possibly be interested in you. So there's that. There's social media, which is fantastic. I used to have a great account that I wound up deleting in an impulsive fashion. But social media is great for getting your stuff out. SEO is important because if you keep your brand, like if you keep your name the same and you label everything as the same, you'll show up on Google way easier and stuff like that.
right,
So it's just the little things, the little uh, like touches that you can do to actually get your name out there and recognized. And I think that's why a lot of people do fail too. Like certain people come into this and they expect that all of their clientele and the people that are interested in them are just going to come from the site alone, which
right,
is true. They do provide the traffic, but it's also important to expand that too.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, do you also promote, like, as far as like, are there like cons and stuff for this kind of thing?
Well, you have the I mean, you're out in the land of the internet.
Right,
So there are no barriers on the internet, meaning I could be found by anyone that might know me. There are geo block restrictions, which are helpful, but people also move around, and you just don't know
right.
who is actually finding your stuff at any given moment. So that's a con. And uh, I think that's really the main con of just being a sex worker
So,
and marketing it
and being
is,
so visible, right?
well, I also can't be a federal worker. So there are limitations to my future as well. But
Right.
thankfully, I have no interest anyway. so, so I don't really care.
Right.
I'll make do. But yeah, so that's a con too. You kind
Mm.
of limit your future in some regards.
I
Um,
actually never knew that. That's a learning point for me. Wow.
and it also depends on like who you're associating with and who is accepting of this line of work as well, because certain old friends of mine are not so accepting of this, and I
Right.
lost them just because of this alone. So there's that huge stigma behind it too.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of the controversy comes in because I've had to unfriend some people because they have such a low opinion of men and women, mostly women, almost always women, who do this kind of thing for a living. And I have a few, I won't say any names, but I have a few on my friends list who do this line of work. And I've seen their comment section, and they can be talking about something completely unrelated. Like one of them can be talking about like, oh, I wish baseball season would be on already. And there'd be that one asshole in her comment section like, well, I wish you wouldn't show your tits on the internet. Like, it's completely unrelated. It's like, how dare you? Like,
Right.
just fucking block the person and move on. Now, I have to, I have to ask, has there ever been a point where, like, you've gone out, or, like, not just, like, out to the store, but, like, have you, like, gone to, I don't know, let's say somewhere out of state, you've gone to, like, a convention or something like that, and have you ever had someone recognize you?
In real life?
Yes.
Just once. But I have attended conventions. No, I've only been recognized one time.
Okay.
And I easily avoided it, so.
Nice. That's me nowadays whenever I'm at the mall.
Yeah.
I'll hear Jordan. I'm like, fuck. Hi.
Wow, yeah, they just asked if I was this person, and it's my alias name, and I was just like, damn. Like, holy, really?
That's what you get and be like, holy shit, I thought you were someone else. You just go, I am. And you just run away.
I basically did that.
I am. I am not the person you were looking for.
Not me, sorry, gotta go, bye.
Hit him with the sex worker Jedi mind trick. I am not who you're looking for.
See you later. Thanks. Yeah, no, I've been lucky on that front.
That's good. That's always that's a big plus, because I've always wondered about that, because I've read and heard some things.
Oh, there are literal horror stories.
Yeah, and some of them are, I'm not going to repeat them here because I'm not here to scare anybody, folks. This is just, all good fun. But I've heard and read some stuff that that makes me cringe, and I'm like, geez, like I would probably, if that happened to someone I knew, I'd probably flip shit. Like I'd be ready for war. So I'm always like, God, this is terrible.
Yeah, it's not a not a good situation.
Yeah, it's definitely one that always, like with any job, really, it comes with good and bad. But in a line of work like yours, I'd imagine that the bad can get really, really bad. Bad for me is I walk in one day and get fired, and bad for a sex worker is an episode of Law and Order in like 6 years. So
yes, yeah. You are absolutely correct in that assessment, and it's horrifying. Yeah. Whew. Let's move on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, not trying to get too dark here. So what kind of, like, I know you said you had videos posted and stuff like that. What kind of content does it consist of? Is there like a range, or is it normally just you doing like one type of thing?
No, I do a range of things. Kink related, or just regular normal, like not normal, like just basic sexual stuff.
Right.
It just depends. I think I've done over 400 clips total.
That's a hell of a resume.
I have 400 clips just around. I should probably take some of those down.
Just go back like, wait, what the hell was I thinking?
I should probably go back in there and do some house cleaning eventually, because yeah. Cool. So yeah, you can't just do 400 clips of one thing, then. you gotta have some variety.
That's fair. I don't know, man. I could think of about 400 clips of me just
I could talk about like popular, like some of my best-selling kinks.
I gotta hear this now.
All right, are you ready?
I am. Let's do this.
You are actually sitting down, so okay. Um, Yawning and coughing.
There are people into that.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, that is
Okay.
very, very, very high. Um, whoa. There is something called breast expansion,
Hmm.
and that is a kink that is very popular and very niche kink that is undergroundly popular.
Nice. All right. So you got like you got to dig like deep into the depths for stuff like that. Okay.
um, wow. Role plays of any sort. Custom clips. People really like customs that I've done for other people, surprisingly. Even if I'm like using other people's names, maybe it goes along with the cuckold thing. I don't really know.
Right.
But there is a people that just like other people's clips, so that's cool.
Hmm.
Um, cool. Uh, Femdom related stuff,
Right.
and I would say that's basically my top.
I never knew there was a kink for yawning, but now that I know that
Oh,
robots
there's
robots
yawn.
are a thing, I guess nothing surprises me anymore.
There is yawning. There is sneezing. There is coughing. A lot of basic things actually that people have kinks for.
Maybe I need
But
to
like,
start expanding my horizons.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a thing. I mean, I've never actually delved into this one, but there's zip popping, which is a thing.
My wife will be pleased to hear that one.
Yeah, yeah. There's literally a kink where you just, go at
Right.
some zits and yeah.
That's amazing. I'm not even grossed out by that. I find that amazing.
And
That, that's, that's
the
that's
worst part
insane.
is I feel like I know people in my life that are actually like
Oh, you totally do. You totally do. Everything you've mentioned right now, I would bet that there's at least one person on my friends list for each of those things.
oh man.
If you
Yeah,
are, if you are, inbox me, holla at me.
do it.
We'll keep it private. I won't out you, but you just gotta let me know. I got some questions.
Whoa.
That's great.
Wow, I wasn't prepared for any of this. Like, I'm kind of happy that I wasn't, but at the same time, like I could have given this because there are so many things, like everything and anything possible.
Which is fine. That's a that's good to know. But over 400 clips, that's impressive. So yeah, you definitely cover everything then.
A large base, yeah. I've definitely experimented.
Right. I've always had my own idea for like OnlyFans, but it's just me in my pajamas eating Lucky Charms and watching the various Peter Pan movies.
I would subscribe.
Yes. See, that's
I would
that's love right there.
I would support this
We
100%.
we got to support each other. I love
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Gotta look out for one another in this web internet game.
The scary 2020 world that we
If,
live in.
oh my god! So I vote that 2020 just becomes synonymous with anything crazy.
Yes.
They'll be like, "Yo, what's wrong with your boy over there? He a little 2020. Leave him alone.
Honestly,
Don't bother him. He won't bother you."
I feel so horrible for the future of like humanity because those kids growing up are going to have a textbook just for 2020.
Jesus Christ! Oh
Like
God! I can
they're
see.
You know, like there's gonna be literal books just about this year.
I can see my kid coming home and be like, Dad, what about 2020? And me just leaning forward with a cigarette, like, oh, I have some words.
Please, no. Don't bring me back.
Right? I can see it now. So, hey, we're learning about 2020, and off in the distance, you just hear like this blood-curdling scream, like, oh, we don't talk about that. I got to tell you, it wasn't just the coronavirus. It just now there's like a sandstorm, so I had to Google it because I thought Sandstorm 2020. I was like, oh shit, there is a Sandstorm remix, which actually does exist. There is a Sandstorm 2020 remix, but no, a literal fucking sandstorm is on its way here. And I'm like, I did not have Sandstorm in 2020 bingo. Did not.
Now you do.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Add it on the list.
Yeah.
How exciting.
That is the thing. Strangely enough, though, I have a Deadpool going with some friends, and Little Richard died. And as heartbroken as I was about it, I texted. I was like, I bet none of you motherfuckers had Little Richard on your Deadpool. And my one friend was like, that says a lot about you that you did have Little Richard on your Deadpool.
Oh my god. I appreciate the dedication.
Yeah, absolutely. But the one thing is, like, none of us will put Betty White on it because we're all convinced that Betty White is going to outlive all of us.
Yeah, she is. She's indestructible, man. I love her.
Who doesn't? Like, she's just such a wonderful human being. And I know she's 97 years old, so I know it has to happen one day, but I'm like, bro, no. Like, I want to go before Betty White. I don't want to live to hear the news that Betty White has passed on. I need to go before Betty White. That would be heartbreaking. That would be soul crushing. I had to live through Prince and Eddie Guerrero dying. I don't know if my heart can take Betty White.
It might have to. She's indestructible.
Yeah, I may have to kill another celebrity just so they pass over the news that Betty White has died. It was kind of like when Farrah Fawcett died, but no one knew because Michael Jackson died an hour later.
Right.
So it's got to be like one of those things. It's like Betty White has died. Who? Who died? Oh, Chris Evans. Chris Evans.
Wow.
I don't want to kill Chris Evans either. I can't kill Captain America.
Why are we killing everyone right now? This is heartbreaking.
This is true. This is true. I've gotten completely derailed from the nonsense that is 2020. So now comes the I'm going to pick your brain just a little bit here. Do you have what you consider like a favorite moment, or would you like to share with the audience like anything? Like, what would you consider, like, when you think back on it, you're like, yeah, this is why I do this?
Wow. There's a couple of things. There's something really wonderful about making over $1,000 in a day. In less than, like, 4 hours.
It's not a whole lot I wouldn't do to make $1,000 in a day, so I feel you.
I couldn't sleep for, like, a day. I was just, like, all giddy. Like, I couldn't believe that actually happened to me.
Yeah, I can't say I blame you. The feeling on that has got to be amazing.
Yeah. Hearing from people how much I've helped them, hearing from people... When someone comes forward and says, you helped me through a really dark time, and they say something along the lines of saving their life or contributing to positive feelings so they don't take that dark path, that right. Literally changed my life. And the money's great, the connections are great, but there's something way better than just any of that combined, and it's helping another person through.
That's amazing.
And a lot of people like go towards places like better inclined towards sexuality because you're opening different like gateways in your brain. So you start to realize, and maybe like people realize things while they're doing that because they're like on their own thing, you know, like they're just doing
Mm-hmm.
their thing. So you learn things about yourself when you're engaging in this type of stuff. And certain people start to realize how upset they are with certain different things that are in their life and
Mm-hmm.
helping them through that and just, you know, that really keeps me wow. Yeah. That's why I do it.
I
It's a
love
way
it.
for me to do it. Aside from helping others, probably the biggest thing that I took from sex work and being involved in this industry is uh, not being so closed off to different possibilities in the sex field, if that makes sense. Like, I came
Right.
in really, really sheltered. I didn't know much. I just kind of knew the basic stuff. Um, and I feel like with time and a lot of the experiences I've had, I've learned so many different kinks and different things that I'm actually into.
Right.
So it kind of helped me learn that about myself, learn what I like, what I don't like, what my boundaries are, what, you know. So I think
So,
that's a huge thing that I took from this.
so this basically helped you like come out of like your shell then.
Oh yeah, like tremendously. I mean I still struggle with it at times, but I'm so much more open to everything now versus back
Right.
a couple of years ago when I was less exposed and sheltered and just didn't know about so much. I didn't even watch porn until I was like 19 years old. So
No, really?
yeah, I had no idea. I mean, I came across like I knew it existed, but I never actually indulged in it.
Hmm.
So I feel like that's been a really big learning experience because I always knew I was sexual. I always knew I was into all of the sexual stuff, but I never knew how to project it. I never knew what to do with all of it. It's like it was a way for
Right.
me to release all of that.
So this was like your awakening then.
Yeah, it was that, and it was also very releasing at the same time because I've learned a lot.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well,
okay.
that's awesome that like that worked out for you in that way because you know
Mhm.
I know people who are like I've always been interested in this, but I'm scared. Like myself included, I'm one of those people. I'm like, this seems interesting, but I don't know. Whereas you were like, it seems interesting. I'll give it a shot. If I don't like it, I never have to do this again.
Right. And the nice thing about doing that on something like an online platform is you could try it once and then never do it again. Or you could try it once and do it 50 times. You know,
Right.
you might just find something you really like or don't like and
10 out of
carry
10
on.
do again.
Mhm. Yep.
That's amazing though.
So, I definitely like this for a lot of reasons, but those were the main couple of points that I wanted to share.
Which is good. I mean, this would be good for everybody because you know I know there are some people I know who have always been interested in like this line of work, and I think this will.
Yeah, it's very eye-opening. You know, you think you know something until you actually do it, and then when you actually do it, it's like completely different than what you expected. I mean, like certain things you expect, you know, you have an idea, but you actually don't know until you try it.
Right,
Yeah.
which is always good.
Yeah.
That's amazing though. Some like I don't know much about it, and yeah, I don't go actively seeking it, but the people I know who are into it all seem very, very. Well, I would say daring because you have to be daring to get into that anyway. But they
Yes.
all seem very like happy with what they do. They seem happy with their fan bases, and this seems to be like yeah, this is it. I can do this. So
Yeah,
it's awesome.
it's really nice to share that side of you to the world in a way too. It's just like, I don't know, it's exciting. You never know who's gonna like it. You never know who's gonna. I don't know. There's just so
Right.
much to it.
I'd imagine there's like a level of vulnerability there.
Oh, there's plenty of it, but also it's uh, so cool at the same time to feel that. And
Right.
that's just with like webcamming and that stuff alone. That's like when you're actually interacting with people. There is a totally different side to this where you don't have to interact with anyone. You could just produce your own content. You could do shoots. You could, I mean, it just depends on what you're doing.
Right.
So, like the interactive side of it, all of that goes entailed with it. But on the non interactive side with it, it's different. There are different things that happen.
Right.
Like, you just have a different level of connection to your people that are watching you. Because if you're a famous porn star, you're not like actually interacting with your fans. You're just like that object, that sexual object that people go to, and you know, that's kind of it.
Right.
So online sex work is like a totally different branch of the adult industry, and I think it's intriguing. It's different. It's just very different. People don't realize how different it actually is when you involve communication.
I'd imagine so because it's like there's that level of there's still the human aspect of it where it's like you want to cater to your audience, but you also don't want to seem like hi, I'm just a person in a camera doing sex acts.
Yes. Yeah, it's really, really weird. It's like this gray area of like, what the fuck is actually going on now? I've also, I did a thing when I started. Okay. So
Hmm.
this is a very, I guess, weird story.
Hmm.
But, okay. When I started this stuff, and I was going at it kind of hard. Like, I was learning the ins and outs. I realized how hard it could be to maintain this kind of sexual energy and just energy overall to do the things that we do in this line of
Hmm.
work. Okay, so uh, I learned that there's just, I mean, unless you're like literally like a sex fiending monster, you can't just, I mean, you can. There are people that do it, but I just feel like it's hard. It's for more people than not, it's hard to do. Okay.
Right.
And kudos to the people that can because holy cow. Wow.
Y'all the real
Y'all
heroes.
are the real MVPs here because I just feel like it's so hard to maintain that, especially with everyday life and things happening, current events. So many things happen and contribute to your mood and how you perform and do what you do.
Right.
So I was working I'm affiliated with a website that offers shows that you buy into, and you can basically host whatever you want. There's
Hmm.
no limitation to that. Now, within a couple of, I would say within a year, I learned about like people that are interested in watching others from afar without just being anonymous, just not really seen peeking, like, like a peeping Tom type of thing. Okay. So that intrigued me because
Right.
being a peeping Tom doesn't necessarily mean that person is doing something sexual
Mm-hmm.
all the time. Being a peeping Tom would mean that person might be getting changed or doing anything,
Right.
literally anything. Sleeping naked, you know, doing dishes topless. Like, you don't know what you're gonna find. So I'm like, okay, this this is like in my brain, like, because I
Right.
have this like show option where like people buy into shows, and then there's no barrier on what you can actually do in said show. So I
Mm-hmm.
decided to start running voyeur shows. I started to run topless voyeur shows, and if a person would join in, I would also offer them a clip or two, say thank you for being interested in this and thanks for watching. Because I'm not going to interact with the person because you're a
Mm-hmm.
peeping Tom. So it's just a courteous, like, thank you for supporting me.
Okay.
Um, so I was suspended from the site about 6 times doing this. And it was because there's nothing pertaining to what you can actually provide in a show.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a battle with this website. I've been suspended for a week, I've been suspended for a month. And a lot of times I went through this because I kept saying, and I would fight it, and I would actually get my account active.
Uh-huh.
It was like they would ban me for something that they didn't have authorization to ban me for because they'd never said I couldn't do it. And finally, once I had the specific guideline,
Mm-hmm.
and finally, after all of that trial and error, I got the green light. And they checked out what I was doing, and they said, everything that you are doing goes by the guidelines and you are allowed to do it. Which means that I was now able to generate some form of cash
Uh-huh.
while I wasn't necessarily doing something sexual. I could just be in a sexual attire, or I could whatever.
Got right.
So I took this knowledge and I posted it on one of there are two very popular forums that we use, and I decided to take this model and post it on the site.
Mm-hmm.
And I just came across it recently, and it's up to 27,000 views,
Wow.
over 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 200 replies, and just like people. I went through my old like forum account, and there were just messages of like thank yous and like, wow, like my entire like everything has changed, and this really helped me because I lost my dad and I couldn't do it, or like this and this. And even though it's not ridiculous. I mean, it could be if you get lucky, because
Mm-hmm.
again, you don't know what you're getting from each and every person, but it opens the gateways for you to find that person while also at least making something. And it gives a little bit of sense of security to those people. And now I'm seeing that sleep voyeurs and just like sleeping shows and this and that, they're going mainstream on Twitch and like TikTok. And it's just like, did I quietly contribute to this in some way, shape, or form? Did certain people from that info like take that knowledge and use it elsewhere? But they are doing the same thing. It's mainstream. I
That
did
that
that.
would that would explain the influx of a few of these TikToks I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you never know. You never know what eyes have seen things. And I just, I felt really, really, really good about sharing that type of knowledge, because to hold on, I mean, it literally has saved me so many, like, multiple times just because of different reasons of why I can't do it. So,
Master Sorcerer, spreading good vibes, good feelings, and starting a revolution.
yes. Yeah, I
I
have
love
never
it.
actually exposed that about myself, but it feels really nice to because why I
That is absolutely amazing, and I think that's probably one of the best stories I've ever heard.
love love
That
your
is
sex workers because we are good people
they
deep down.
are. Don't let the not deep down. You're good people anyway. Don't let the links and
Yeah.
everything. They are people, and they do
Yes.
have feelings.
Yes, we are people with feelings and emotions and yes.
The ability to kick a lot of fucking
We
ass.
we just want to make people feel good. And the people that are genuinely into that are the ones that really do well. I think is the bottom line.
This is a
The more into it you are, the more you're going to get out of it.
absolutely.
Mhm.
This has been a very eye opening for me, and I hope for all of you guys as well, because this
I
was
hope it
awesome.
wasn't too like much. I've been excited about this for so long because
No, this is wonderful. This is this is what the point. This is what the point of my podcast is supposed to
uh,
be,
well,
and this
fantastic.
hits it on the head. I mean, just 3 episodes ago, I was talking about how Nintendo used to host brothels, and now they're like the king of video gaming. So
Right, right.
like this is what people come to my podcast for, and hopefully they've learned some things, and I'm definitely going to have you back on an episode really soon because there's still so much there's still so
That
much that I want to say, but
I
and
know.
we're definitely gonna have to do this again real soon.
Yeah, think of some, but don't tell me the questions in advance because I'll go crazy. I like this. I like the impulsive, like
Yeah, I try to
I can't, I can't think, I can't overthink it.
yeah, I try to. I've learned to find, like, I've come to find, not learn to find. I've come to find that the not scripted format,
It's
it
way
feel
better.
yeah, and it feels more human. Like, I'm not a news reporter. I'm not doing this for 2020. I'm doing this to entertain people, and I feel like the point of not just my podcast, but a lot of other podcasts should be we're friends talking.
Right.
I'm not conducting an interview. I'm not trying to win an Emmy or a Pulitzer Prize.
Yeah,
I,
dude. Right.
yeah,
Me
just
either.
come to me when you want to have conversation. Come to me when you want to hear something you've been interested in. And I know a lot of people have been waiting for this because I promised that interviews would be like episodes would be about sex and stuff like that. So I feel like this is one of the ones that people were definitely waiting for, and
Yeah,
and I'm hoping this didn't disappoint.
I
I
hope not. I really hope not.
Yeah, I feel like everyone has learned a lot, myself included. So
Whoa, that felt really, really, really good. I have to say.
I'm glad, and I'm glad that you were comfortable enough to take this time with me and discuss the nature of what you do.
So excited to hear this back.
um,
Oh my god.
I'm probably going to listen to it in the car, which I try not to do. I try not to listen to my episodes back because I'm my own worst critic.
Oh,
So
me too.
if I'm
Yeah.
in the car and I hear you're listening to the Blatino, no, I'm like, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. Don't do that.
Please, no.
My God, I did. I did go back. The only episode I think I've listened back to was when I had Jen Christie and Haley on the episode because that was just too golden of a moment to miss.
Right.
And hey, and there were actually some things that I didn't even realize Haley had said. So when I went back and listened to the podcast, I was like, "Aww."
I love her. Oh my god.
Yeah, she's one of the best. But this is definitely one for the record books, and I'm definitely gonna have to listen to this back because this, if anything, this provided me with so many laughs, and this was good.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. It was fun.
This was fun, and I thank you for being here. You take care. And I would like to thank all of you, as always, for tuning into the Blatino Nerd. And a special thank you to Hit Like a Girl for their song Breathe You In off the album What Makes Love Last. Available on all streaming platforms. I will catch you guys next time, and as always, keep it nerdy.